Hello, welcome to Technology News, this time coming from beautiful Mauritius. Firstly, iOS 11 is coming in this autumn, or fall, whatever you want to call it, and it means that any existing 32-bit apps that you have on your device will no longer work. As you can see, I have a few myself. Some of them which I've paid for, so it's not great that they're going to stop working. So I've just come indoors because there's a lot of road noise outside, so hopefully you can hear the beginning of the video. Anyway, so for Sony VR headsets, they've actually managed to sell about 1 million of those, which goes to show that perhaps the technology is finally taking off. It has been around for quite a few decades now, so it is a good sign. The price has finally come down to an affordable level for most people at $399. Well, not most people, but a lot of people. And that's less than what other manufacturers are selling their headsets for. There's not that many games available at the moment for it, but if it continues to take off as it is, that can only change. Developers will start making more and more games for it, and it can only get better from there, really. So we'll wait and see if it continues to sell as well as it's doing at the moment, but it does go to show that maybe the technology is finally taking off. Finally, Russian company Kaspersky, who make antivirus software, has made a complaint to the EU about Microsoft's Windows Defender software. The complaint relates to the fact that because Windows Defender is part of Windows 10, Kaspersky are losing out in terms of sales. But the thing is, if you've got an up-to-date version of Windows 10 and Windows Defender, you probably don't need third-party antivirus software because your system should be secure enough. Microsoft release updates to Windows 10 quite regularly, and as soon as security flaws are found, they're patched within days or even hours, depending on how severe the problem is. I know that on my computer, I just use Windows Defender. Since having Windows 10, I've never been infected by a virus or anything. I think if you're someone who doesn't really know what you're doing, for example, if you go and open an attachment on an email from an unknown source, you're going to possibly get a virus anyway. The average user probably wouldn't realise the dangers of doing this, but on the other hand, the average user probably wouldn't go out and buy a third-party antivirus software and would probably stick with Windows Defender. So in my opinion, if you've got an up-to-date version of Windows 10 and Windows Defender running and the firewall, you shouldn't really have any problems. There was an attack recently which affected the NHS in the UK quite severely, but that was mainly because they were running very old versions of Windows, including Windows XP, believe it or not, and this is why they got infected by the ransomware. So I really think that, as I say, as long as you've got the latest version of Windows, you probably don't need a third-party antivirus software. Third-party software does, if it's any good, can still be very popular. For example, Google Chrome is still used far more than Microsoft's Internet Explorer and Edge. So if Kaspersky's antivirus software had something much more to offer than Windows Defender, then people would use it, but because you probably have to pay for it, people probably wouldn't bother and just stick with Windows Defender. So I think the problem really lies with Kaspersky and probably other antivirus developers, that they probably need to find out other ways of making money. Perhaps, I don't know, offer their programs for free with advertising, and if it turns out to be a lot better than Windows Defender, people will start using it and they might end up making even more money that way, possibly. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I just think these antivirus companies are eventually just going to disappear. Unless there's a court ruling to say that Microsoft need to encourage users to choose which anti-software to use, as they did with their web browsers because of another court ruling. I think, as I say, these antivirus software companies are just going to end up disappearing. Because, to be honest, I think they might be obsolete now. It's only really Windows that they make software for, because Macs and other operating systems don't tend to suffer from attacks as much as Windows does. Anyway, that's all for now, and apologies for the delay in getting this episode out since my last one. It's been a long time, and hopefully next time it won't be so long. And thanks for watching.